on Kane! It's 1-0. We're fucking down. 13th in the Championship. The takeover happened, as I said it would. People will be... Oh, when have we got Leeds? Now then, people, welcome back to the Just Your Football show and the White Rose Rivals. It does still exist, people. First and foremost, let me apologise. A lot of people have been asking me, where's White Rose Rivals? Is it going to be on tonight? I'm really sorry. Just life, yeah. I went to see my mum 1 week. I think 1 week it was the transfer window deadline day. So, yeah, it's not ideal, but we're back. As you can see, there's only 3 of us. Cossie's flying to Madrid. Can't be to see Huddersfield playing in Europe or out like that, so I don't know what he's doing over there. Maybe just a holiday. Matt can't make it tonight, but you've got the 3 best. Anyway, you've got top of the league, mid-table, and bottom of the league. You've got all the bits. Do you know what I mean?
Not quite bottom.
No, I'm joking. And how are you doing, mate? I haven't spoken to you for a while, apart from the odd little Twitter in the group chat you put in. Outside of that, are you good?
Yeah, I'm fine. Been a busy couple of months. I've only just got my car back, so I've been stranded at my house for ages because I live in somewhere where the bus route's terrible. So I've literally just been stuck at home doing that. But yeah, I've got it back now, so I'm free.
Oh, good. We're going to have to be talking about Philogene and Somerville at some point, aren't we? There's definitely a conversation to be had. There is a conversation to be had, though, now, mate. I think for Philogene as well as, of course, I'm going to say Somerville, but look,
Joe, there is 3 of us.
Yeah, well, mate, what? Barry Bannon? Are we throwing Barry Bannon in? I don't know.
Malik Wilkes.
Who's played for all 3 of us, actually, coincidentally.
Yeah. He's doing a Tour de Yorkshire and he's playing for Donny as well.
There you go. And Ash, how are you, mate? How's things? Because footballing's probably not the best, but how are you first and foremost?
Yeah, I'm good, Joe. Yeah, not too bad. Busy, podcast busy, work busy, life busy. But it's always good to catch up with you guys and have a laugh, isn't it?
Exactly. It is a laugh, isn't it? That's what we do this show for. It's good to catch up and get on. Look, folks, I don't want to focus too much on most recent results because we've missed that many. So it's just a case of catching up and finding out where we're at. I must start with you, mate. Hull City currently in 8th. I did think you would get playoffs. I still think there's a big possibility. It almost feels like though the top 4 sorted, probably Leicester in first and the rest will move about. Hopefully Leeds in second. But it's 5th and 6th that's up for grabs and it keeps changing, doesn't it? West Brom, Coventry yourselves. I think Middlesbrough seem to be out of it now, but you've got Sunderland, Norwich. Yeah, so how are you feeling with regard to the season? Because you had an amazing January. You brought in some top players. Are you still hopeful that you can get in there? Because the gap's next to nothing, isn't it? I think you're same points as Coventry in 6th.
Yeah, we're outside on goal difference. The thing is that January was needed because we had a really, really bad festive period where we had so many players out with injury and things like that, and our momentum really curtailed because we had such a good start to the season. But from November onwards, it's kind of dropped off, and I think Rosini will be really frustrated because key players at key moments have gone missing, and really bad decisions with officials. I mean, I'm not going to go on about the Sheffield Wednesday game, but the referee was horrible. It's just one of those moments where we've kind of, I think what's happened is the ownership have turned around to Rosini and gone, look, we've just gone through our worst period of the season and we're still within touching distance of the top 6. Do you want us to back you and go for it this season? And he's gone, yeah, let's do it. And we've replaced players Scott Twine's gone back, Ruben Vinagra's been sent back, and we've replaced them with Fabio Carvalho and Ryan Giles. So we've kind of just hit upgrade in that sense. We've brought in, some real top talent. I mean, Zarori was title winner with Burnley last season and had a lot of goal contributions. We've kind of just plugged in the areas that we needed to in the team, and now it's just about getting them settled in the system and forming those connections, because at the minute it is a little bit, there's murmurs of discontent really at the style of play, not necessarily the playing out from the back, just at the speed at which we do it. There's too much passing around the back 4. It's too passive, too ponderous. It just needs to be sort of up to bit. You're watching sides look at Leeds at the minute, look at Ipswich, how they play. Look at West Brom when they're on the ball and they're possession-based sides, but but they do it in a way that's fast and exploits space. And we tend to be a bit too slow when we're doing it, and I think it lets teams sit back, cut passing lanes, and sort of nullify our threat. So that's the only real complaint I've got at the minute. I do think that it'll click. Delap's a huge miss. Seri's been a massive miss at AFCON, but he's back this weekend at grounds that we do notoriously very bad at. So hopefully we can come away with John Smith with at least something, because it's one of those grounds I go to every season and think, this is it. This is the year we win. And it's 11 years now. We still haven't won there. So I need an excuse to keep going. I really do. It's doing my head in.
Yeah. Huddersfield at the weekend. It's a shame Cossey isn't on, isn't it? Because they've had a couple of decent results in recent weeks. Obviously, the Sheffield Wednesday one, unfortunately, Arsenal, and then they beat Sunderland the other night as well. So they'll be happy. How are the new signings getting on, bro? Because obviously Leeds United were linked to Carvalho. We were also linked to Ryan Giles. We lose out on them both, and everyone's, from a Leeds United perspective, I mean, I was pretty chilled, but a lot of fans were like, can't believe we're losing out to Hull. We're not going to go up, and you know what it's like, catastrophising. Yeah. But how are them two individuals getting on?
Carvalho is at the minute. I feel like he's still not fully match fit, but we're playing him because he's Carvalho and he needs to start. He's struggled the last couple of games, but they've been really physical games where they've kind of targeted him, marked him really tightly, and kind of bullied him out the game. But you see, the thing is with Carvalho is because players are now paying attention to him, it gives players like Anas Zaroury and Jadon Philogene a bit more space, because now we've got not just one player that teams tend to focus on. We've got three really dangerous players in that sort of behind the striker role that sides have now got to try and manage. So it's given us a bit more strings to our bow kind of thing. Giles is probably the main signing that we needed to make, because left back had been such a problem position for us all season. We signed Ruben Vinagre in summer, and he was just injured all the time. Our backup was always injured as well, so we was always playing either Jacob Greaves out there or Cyrus Christie, who was a right back, or Louis Coyle, who was a right back. So it was always square pegs and round holes kind of thing. But Giles, 21 assists in the last 2 seasons he's had at left back. Already got an assist now to his name with the assist for Rahaya's goal at Rotherham, and it just feels like we've got a bit more balance in the squad. Giles going forward looks very good. Perhaps defensively looks a little bit vulnerable, but I think Rosenior doesn't mind, because he signed players like Giles to be overlapping attacking fullbacks, and we should just sort of be covering that role when he goes forward with the likes of Tyler Morton and players like that. So yeah, they look okay. I think Zaroury, again, he looks a bit similar to Philogene in the sense that he's a very elaborate flair player. He wants to excite and sort of showcase his ability and what he can do. We've just sort of littered the side with technical, creative players, and like I say, once they've settled and get used to the system and form those connections with the players around them, we could be quite dangerous.
Yeah, for sure. Game in hand as well. It's quite interesting you mentioned Giles, because I was listening to the second tier earlier, and they were mentioning Ryan Manning at Southampton in a similar sort of vein, that he's great going forward, being getting caught in behind, and the same could be said for Firpo. It's just at the minute, Leeds United, in terms of the midfield, with Gruyev and Kamara and also Ampadu and Rodon at the back, even if they do get in behind him, they've got one hell of a back line to break down at the minute at Leeds. I think we've conceded 1 in 7 games, man. It's insane the way we're playing at the minute. So, yeah, long may that continue. Ash, come on then, talk to me. You were saying just off air, terrible January. Did you expect more business? What did you get done, and how's it been over the last few weeks? Because you're currently in 23rd. Big gap. You're not going to finish bottom. That's reserved for Rotherham, unfortunately. Sorry, Matt. But do you still hope with 7 points? There's still a long way to go, don't get me wrong. Are you hopeful? Millwall are dropping like stone, by the way. So are you hopeful?
Yeah, always hopeful. Like, I've been on here and I've always said 1-0 to Wednesday every week virtually. Gotta be. Look, it was 12 points was the biggest gap I think we had. We had a chance against the Huddersfield, obviously, it went proper wrong. We had a chance to close that to 3 points. And with
we've got Millwall next as well.
We've got Millwall. We've got Millwall Saturday, who are going through a bit of a torrid time themselves, but. And I watched, they played Coventry, and then obviously I watched the midweek game, saw the midweek results. So I'm thinking, they're not going to sack the manager, are they? They're not going to get a new one in. either because we haven't done the best when we've come up against either new managers or caretaker managers like Huddersfield.
And they already done it once, didn't they? Get rid of Rowett. They did, didn't they? They got rid of Rowett, brought someone else in. I mean, 3 in the season. We did that last year and we got relegated, so it's not good.
So, but if you're looking at the fixtures, we've still got Rotherham to play. That's away. We've still got QPR. That's away. We've got Millwall away. So, but they're all down there with us, but we've only won 2 away games all season. So you look at the teams we've got coming up away and you're thinking, yeah, they are potential where we need to get us 3 points. But as away form has been shocking. So it's not fair on the fans. I mean, we always take a good following away. Tuesday night at Leicester, 3,300. Obviously expecting a cricket score, and it didn't obviously work out that way. We got a creditable 2-0 loss, which is thing. But it's January wise, Joe. Yeah, there was hope, and we was going to get the right sort of players in. Obviously, we got Beadle in and Ugbo from Cardiff quite early on. Beadle, the keeper from Brighton, and then we've added one of your lads, haven't we? Old Ian, our Ian.
Oh yeah, man. How's he getting on? He's done well, hasn't he?
He has done very well. He's looked really bright. He's
technically he's fantastic, isn't he? With the ball at his feet, he's fantastic.
Technically, against Birmingham on Friday night, we won 2-0. The skill for the first goal that he laid on for Ugbo was brilliant, really good, and it's really refreshing to see that he played in like a bit of a free role, number 10, but all over. That he got the ball to feet, turned, and his first instinct was to go forward. And he always looked to attack and take people on, and that's something we've not really had. Bannon has over the years has obviously gone deeper and deeper and not done that as effective. So it's good for someone else to come in now, take that reign and look. But yeah, it was one of those in January that was he signed and he's like, who? Because no disrespect, obviously he'd played a few games for Leeds, but obviously not getting the games, and it weren't anyone that was even on radar. You know, the murmurs and the rumours and all that. It was out of the blue, and it was like, all right, fair enough. And I think he came in, or he was said by the local press and some of the press that he was a winger, and he's like, well, why we brought another winger, and we don't need a winger, we need either a striker and we'd let George Byers midfielder go to Blackpool, and it was like, well, who's going to come in? We need to bring a midfielder in because we're a bit short in that. And he's come in and he's looked really sharp, really has exciting. And I mean, he played 2 games now. 2 he came against Huddersfield for the last 10 minutes, and they're going out. We can sign him up in the summer because his contract's up, I believe. Yeah,
his contract's up.
But that will all depend on what league we're playing in. Of course, I'm sure he won't want to be playing League
Do you know what, though? You say that, though, because on Paveda, obviously, he's played for some fantastic clubs in his youth career. He came from...
And he's the best now, isn't he? Is it the best now?
Yeah, exactly. He's been at Arsenal, he's been at City, he's been everywhere. Brentford, then he came at Leeds, and to be honest, I would have never said he was a winger. I couldn't even tell you what his position was. He reminds me a bit like Gelhardt in that respect, but more so a 10, I would say. Yeah. But I think there's a case for him, a bit like Jack Clark and a bit like Leif Davis, of maybe dropping down a division anyway and being the main person, if you like, the main guy. And then, because he does have that quality in him, I just think a lot of it's application. I just think for whatever reason, he's not fulfilled that potential. And the only answer you can have is he doing enough on and off the pitch? You know what I mean? Is he dedicated as such? You know,
he like I say, he's on first couple of games, but he just looks like a guy that wants to play football. He's got a massive smile on his face, really is, and he's not what he's a slight fella. He is, and a couple of times he has been knocked off the ball, but you're gonna get that. You're gonna get someone that size who's got that, but he does like to dig in as well. He does track back and make a tackle. Now, like it's his first few weeks at the club, so obviously he wants to make an impression and things, and that might wear off once we're getting battered every week or something. But he does look like a good signing. I've got to say that he was and it was great to get him in. Really was. So it's it's hopefully it will be the spark that we need in some of the games. A bit of creativity that we've missed.
Yeah, no, I'm good. I'm good. I'm glad. Sorry that deal's working out for you thus far. Boys, what have you made to Leeds? Then we're gonna have to talk about your favourite subject, of course. But yeah, currently sat in second. What did seem for a period of time a bit of an insurmountable gap. I know, Ant, you've got family members who are Leeds fans, and you'll know you yourself. I bet they've been gushing to you, but Leeds currently sitting second. I'm confident now that it is ours to lose in effect, because even if Southampton win their game in hand, the last game of the season is at Ellen Road. So yes, if we both won the rest of our games, they would have 1 point on us. But then it comes down to that last game at Ellen Road. So in effect, it sort of is in our hands. Do you look at Leeds and think promotion, just with the form since the turn of the year? It's almost, for me, it looks like a carbon copy of what Farker did at Norwich in his 2 promotions. Turn of the year, then bang, they just go on a winning run. I think we've scored 17 goals in 7, conceded 1, flying right now. What do you make to it, Ant?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard. Obviously, as painful as it is to say, it's hard to look past Leeds as genuine top 2 contenders at the minute with the form they're in, and you just look at the players they've got. I mean, I think the turning point for Leeds, which has sort of turned them into the kind of force that they've been in, I think, is the players that perhaps weren't playing as well as they should be, or like Nonso, for example, who didn't want to be there and then has now sort of pushed his way back into the side and playing well. You've got Fairpo, who was, from what I could see from the outside, a bit of a scapegoat for a long time and has now turned it on and seems like he's showing what he's capable of. And when you bring these players in from the outside kind of thing, they have that little bit of extra motivation and determination to play better and remain part of the side. So you've got now competition for places all over the pitch, and players are having to stay at the highest level possible to obviously keep their position. And they're just, the home form especially, I think, is just realistically going to make you top 2 contenders, because you just don't seem to be able to lose at home. But I think once the away form properly sorts itself out, because I still think you're a little bit suspect away, it's going to be hard to look past Leeds for top 2. I mean, Southampton look really good too. Be interesting to see how they respond after obviously their first defeat after a really long unbeaten run, because I find mentality-wise, when you've been unbeaten for so long and you lose, you tend to then go on a bit of a losing streak, because you've been so used to not losing that it comes as a bit of a shock to the system. And so let's see what minerals Southampton have got now to respond, because it's just going to be a straight shootout between you two. I think Ipswich, despite winning last night, I think they're realistically not going to maintain the same standard.
They're drawing too many, it seems.
They've dropped off, as I think most people predicted they would. I mean, they're still in a fantastic position. They're in 4th place and comfortably in the top 6. So they're going to be a playoff side, but they're not going to be able to maintain those levels to compete with Leeds and Southampton, I don't think. So, I think Leicester are too far gone, and I just think they're too good. But 2nd place, definitely a real possibility.
100%. How mad is it, Ash, right? Imagine being Southampton, you go on a 25 game undefeated streak, and you're in 3rd. It's wild. For me, that's wild. And it shows the standards that are set, because I think someone put up a table of where Leeds United were in our promotion season under Bielsa, and the points difference is about 15 points. Do you know what I mean? So it just shows the level at the top this time is insane. But like Ant just mentioned, Ash, going on a 25 game unbeaten run and then finding yourself in 3rd, it's got to affect you, I think, anyway.
Yeah, I mean, obviously not championship, but we had it last season. We went 26 games last season, finished 3rd. There was 3 teams that were just well above the rest of the league. And for Southampton, you always have that team, don't you? We always say that there's one that hits it just round about now, or just a couple of weeks later, getting into March, that hits an incredible run, either scrapes into the playoffs. And I think Southampton have probably peaked a little bit too early. And then, exactly like Ant says, it's have they got the minerals now? They didn't just get beat the other night, Bristol. They did get a proper beating. It was that good by Bristol City, and it's how they react. They are going to. It's hard, isn't it? Because obviously now Leeds are taking that sort of momentum, that form that you've got. Like you said, 17 goals and 4 and 1 against. You're going to be looking and thinking, well, Southampton. Can they crawl it back? Because I can't see Leeds really until you come to us on Friday or the Friday night. I can't see you coming unstuck very often. It will be an interest. Obviously, we're at the wrong end of the table, but it will be an interesting last 3 or 4 weeks if teams continue where they are. With Southampton, I think Ipswich will come back. I just think that they've dropped too many points in the last 4 weeks. That they'll really struggle to get back to second. Well, it's interesting. It's good. It is. Apart from Leicester, who are romping it, it's good to have a bit of competition. You never want to see that. I mean,
100%. I'm just laughing at this from Max. I'm sorry. He says Leeds will have a big test when they come to town. No disrespect, Max. Out of all the teams we've got left to play, I'm not worried about going to 20th Huddersfield Town, bro. Okay.
What about 23rd Wednesday? What about 23rd Wednesday? You don't be worried about coming to us on a Friday night.
Well, seeing as though you gave us a good game though last time around with the low block, it could well be, mate. It might be because Cossey's not here and I'm just taking shots, you know what I mean? Thinking I'm a big guy, but I'm not concerned about Huddersfield. I'm not. To be honest, Max, Huddersfield, especially in the fullback areas, were the worst team we played all season. Worst team. And I still stand by that point. So yeah, they might have turned a corner, whatever, but that's a game that doesn't concern me. You can clip that, mate.
We proper struggle. First half, if we'd have scored in the first half, we'd have gone on to win. We just couldn't score in the first half, and then the second half, they just gave up. Conceded first, and they scored straight away after the first, about 2 minutes later, and then that was it, 4-0. So it was.
How's Danny Roll getting on, mate? Do you still rate him? Is he decent?
Yeah. Still, he's still got. I think there, obviously with some of the team selections and some of the substitutions, there are minute fans that are questioning some of his decisions. But he's still got 99% of the fan base behind him. He's young. He's 34 years old. It's his first job. He's come to a shit show of a club. We all know the off the field antics. Well documented by lots of podcasts and commentators about our owner. And I think he was disappointed with January. I think just some of his interviews, you could see just his when it's been brought by the local press, some of his just reactions and the just ways, his body language. I think he was hoping for more. Didn't get it, probably for whatever reason. If it's the owner, obviously he's having a tough time of it with the fans at the minute, the owner, with the protests and things going on. I'm still behind him. A lot of fans are still behind him. That we can see how he wants us to play. I just don't think we've got the players really to implement what we saw against Leicester on Tuesday night, that playing out from the back, and it just cost us the first goal after 4 minutes. So, but he's sticking with it, and it worked though against Birmingham. The first goal we played out from the back and we scored. So there is a way of doing it, and there's a lot of. We've got quite a Wednesday supporter. His name's Tom on Twitter. Does a lot of stats about Sheffield Wednesday, and he always brings up things, and he's really good, really in depth, and he's come up with this thing is that obviously the ball gets played back to the keeper. Everyone's lump it up top. Where a lot of teams now, we've all seen it, want to play out from the back, and he come up with this big graph about the percentage of goals that we score, and most teams score from just playing out from the back rather than lumping it up to your big lad up front.
Yeah. So, we do the same, to be fair, because we've got a bit of discontent. I think it's because obviously we've only won something like 6 in 16 at the minute, but
is that what it is? Wow.
Yeah. I mean, I mean, we won 3 of the last 4. So before that, it was worse. But it's the speed, like I said earlier, it's the speed at which sometimes it's played out. So with us, the possession, the play out from the back thing is what Rosenior wants to do. And I understand both sides. I can understand frustration. I understand why Rosenior wants us to do it. So like against Rotherham, we're 1-0 down, right? We're playing poorly. We're losing every individual battle on the pitch. I mean, this is a side that's won 1 in 18. Like you're frustrated as a fan in the stadium. You want your team to kind of, up the intensity, up the tempo, and force the issue. And there was a moment in the game where Louis Coyle turns around and passes it to the goalkeeper, and the entire stand booed because he went backwards rather than forwards when you're losing to Rotherham. And it's one of those where fans, with the style of play, no matter what style you incorporate, you're always going to have fans that, I mean, if you had someone like Neil Warnock who wants you to get it up as fast as possible, you're going to have fans that don't like that. You're going to have fans that don't like, it's just finding the way that wins. But I understand why he does it. Like he says, if you go back to the goalkeeper, it encourages the other team to press higher, leave space in behind. You can pop it in over the top then. But, realistically, how many times does it work? We were trying to aim balls over the top to a 38-year-old Billy Sharp, so it wasn't quite working. But every team, I mean, if you've got the ball, the other team can't score. So the possession-based system works if you do it correctly. Like you look at Southampton, you look at Leeds, you look at Ipswich, they're doing it in the ways that work. Obviously Chef Wednesday are going to be in a standard transition because he's only just come in really. With us, Rosini, it's over a year now, so we're kind of getting there, and the back four seem very good with it, but a lot of new signings to bed in. And with these styles of play, it's just patience. It really is. But obviously, like you say, when you're in the positions you're in, sometimes patience wears thin.
100%. I mean, it took. Obviously, I was.
I think you've muted yourself, Joe, or something. I was trying to figure out if it was me.
Sorry. Oh God.
There you go. It's back. I can hear you. I think.
There. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, you're back.
Yeah, you can. Right, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. I didn't put my phone on Do Not Disturb, so I was getting a call, and when that happens, it knocks my sound off.
I was thinking, I wonder if that's me. I was like trying to reset my cables and stuff.
I just seen Ash go like this, and I thought, oh fuck, I think I've gone. There we go. Now I was saying, I don't know if you caught any of it about how when Bielsa came in. Oh, none of it. When Bielsa came in, it took the fans around me, especially those of an older generation, to getting used to playing that style of play. Because everyone just goes, the goal's up there, not down here, get it up and all that sort of stuff. But I do think as well there is a way in which you do it. Like you mentioned earlier, when you're playing that slow, methodical, possession-based football, and like a Leicester and Southampton. Now, I know Leicester are winning the league at the canter and stuff, but when they struggle, their fans are fuming because they're like, more. And I just think if Leicester were to go up and play the way they're playing under Maresca, it ain't going to work. And therefore, they will get annoyed by that. Whereas the difference is with Leeds, and I know I'm using them as like a barometer, but it's exciting to watch at all times. Whereas I think sometimes it's when it's slow and it's left to right and you're not going anywhere, it can be frustrating, even though you've got the ball all the time. I still say that I'd rather watch Liverpool, for example, than watch Man City. Do you know what I mean? Because sometimes Man City dominate it that much that it's just like, I'm fucking falling asleep here. Do you know what I mean? It's just left to
it's that intensity. You want to be excited. Yeah. You want to see, your speed. The game needs to be played at a higher pace. And I feel like sometimes, especially with us this season, is like we've got the crowds back in the stadium, but because of the style of play, that the atmosphere sometimes falls a bit flat because we just spend so much time passing it around the back four in the midfield that it's hard to sort of get into that atmospheric, getting the ground booming kind of thing, because you're just watching players pass the ball between each other for 10 minutes at a time, and you're just wishing, let's create some chances or something. Yeah. But yeah, it's tough. I mean, if you're winning games like Leicester are, they're not too bothered. But like you say, when it starts to go wrong,
this is the thing. Because I was talking about this about West Ham as well. It's like when you play like, say, a David Moyes, when you're winning games, you can forgive it. But as soon as you start losing games and getting spanked 6-0 and you're still playing that way, you're like, what are we doing here? Do you know what I mean? Like, what is this gaining? So it is all about winning football matches. You win football matches, no one cares. Do you know what I mean? That's the thing in it, unfortunately.
It was the fact that it was like the first 4 minutes against Leicester on Tuesday night, and we made a mistake by passing it round the back or passing it back to the keeper, and it wasn't a good pass, and he put it out to the centre midfielder that had come deep to collect it, and he messed up, and then it resulted in a goal. So it highlights it, even though like they kept doing it all match, and it was nothing wrong with it. But it's just that the fact that in the position we're in, we're playing top of the league. A lot of people are expecting 4-5-0 type of game, and just to concede like that manner in the first 4 minutes, it's just a massive setback.
100%.
So it just, but people do, don't they? They see it doesn't matter what happens. Like Ant says, there's always positives, negatives. Always, it depends what you do. One thing, the other would moan, do that, and then the other side moan. So it's football, isn't it? I think no one's going to 100% agree.
Yeah, I think there's a case as well that I'm all for managers having a style and sticking to it. I think that's the best way to play football. You know, a lot of Leeds fans got frustrated, or we're not pragmatic enough under Bielsa, but ultimately, top coaches, in my opinion, will say it's plan A or plan A better and continue to do the same things. But sometimes I also, because say Swansea, for example, I said in the preview, I said they're going to try play a certain way with a high line and that, but we're just too good against Swansea for them to be able to do it. And then it is that case of, I respect the coach for sticking to his principles, but then we were like 3-0 up within 25 minutes. It's then like, are you going to continue playing that way? I don't know. These coaches stuck between a rock and a hard place. I think it's the quality of opposition you're going up against that maybe you go, okay, we're playing Leicester, okay, we're playing Leeds, Southampton, let's switch it up a little bit, you know?
Yeah, we did that in the second half on Tuesday. He did change the formation, change the way he played. We did have a bit, not really success, but we didn't concede anymore, and we had a couple of chances, which was a lot better. But it's for us, the way that Danny Rule wants to play, and his, I don't really like the philosophy. I don't think he's got the players for that. And I know you're supposed to coach it, and I know that, but it's just he's come in and he's not been backed how I think he wanted to be backed, with bringing certain players in or certain type of player. So he's got to work with what he's got. He's been there, was it 21 games, I think it is now. He's won 7, so a third, whereas before the manager had been there 10 and not won any. So, you know, we are progressing. We are still in with it. It's just the players. I think his way of wants to play is probably the right way. It's a way that a lot of teams are adapting to.
Yeah,
it amplifies it when the individual mistakes lead to the goal, and you're on the back foot, like I said.
100%. No, I get that. I do. Boys, I don't want to keep us too long, because like I say, we haven't got a full quarter, and there's not a lot for us to go on really, because we've missed quite a lot, so it's more of a catch-up scenario. But I do just want to go around and find out from you, and we'll discuss each team, like where we think people are going to finish up. Obviously, there's now 14 games left, so not that many games left for some of us. I think you've got 15, haven't you, Ant? But if we look at Rotherham, first of all, they are 14 points from safety at this point. They're done, right? Do we agree? Gone. I feel sorry for them.
It's too much. It's too much for a squad that, I mean, Rotherham, the one thing you will get with them every game is they'll fight and you'll get 100% effort, but it's just the quality that lets them down. They haven't got a championship quality squad, and when you've got to make up a gap like that, it means you've got to win, let's say, more than half of the games they've got left. And realistically, are they going to do that? They've won 3 games all season. So I can't see it personally, but you know, realistically, they'll probably go down and come straight back up. That's what they do, and they're happy to do that. So yeah. But dead and gone. Rotherham, I think.
Only with some cash, don't they? They need someone who don't look like Steve Bruce Lovechild and wearing white suits and all that sort of stuff.
Cross between Colonel Sanders and Steve Bruce, weren't it? The thing was. I agree with Anne. I think it is a bit of a stretch. I
think it's still over 400 and odd days they've not won away as well, so they've just got no chance, have they?
If they'd peppered a couple of wins here and there, you'd think, but 1 in 18, I think you've just said it's. Yeah, I think they're just they're down. Got to be said.
Down. Let's move up one position.
Don't go too far.
Well, you sit tight for a minute, Ash. Chef Wednesday have 7 points, 7 point gap, and I don't think they'll do it. I don't think they're going to do it. I think Millwall. Look, if they beat Millwall at the weekend, then that really does it. That's a shot in the arm, and Millwall are absolutely diabolical. So they do need to beat them, to be fair, to give them any chance. If they lose that, and I know it's away, but I watched them play Ipswich the other night. They were shite. They've been shite for a few weeks now. They have to win that game, man. But I guess if they win that, we might say something different. But looking at it right now, where do you think Chef Wednesday have enough? Can do enough?
I change my mind about Sheffield Wednesday every week because one week I'll watch them, they'll play really well and win, and then they get a positive result and then back it up with like 2 really bad ones, and you just feel like there needs to be a bit of consistency in the results they pick up and maybe find different ways and uglier ways of winning. Obviously, like you said, Danny Rowe's a very young manager, so similar to Rosenior, he's going to make mistakes. He's going to be very stubborn in his style of play, but you just need to show a bit of adaptability at times. And the squad Chef Wednesday have is probably decent enough to stay up, but with the transition and style of play that he wants to incorporate, has he got enough time to get the players fully bedded into that system to keep them up? Like you say, if they beat Millwall, it changes again. But then, do they then lose the next 2 games and it makes it pointless? Because like you say, when they lost to Huddersfield 4-0, I thought, that's an absolute hammer blow. 7 points is a big gap. You're looking at 3 wins at least to try and pull that gap back again. Like I say, they're struggling away. I think you've got to improve away if you want to stay up, because they're decent at home. I mean, let's be honest. I said that it was basically 12 versus 10 at Hillsborough, but they were the better side before Morton got sent off. We were poor that day, and Chef Wednesday were really good, and they were really, really organised and caused us all sorts of issues before that. So I was watching them then, and I thought, they might get out of this. And then, like you said, they get 2 or 3 bad results, and you're thinking, now they're gone. So it's just consistency. Pick up a couple of away wins, and they'll be right back in it. But like you say, Millwall's a crunch game. It really is
massive, big relegation 6 point. Ash, do you think you can win that game? Because it does. You cut the gap to 4 then. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And it's a real shot in the arm. So it feels like a must win for me, that game, Ash.
Yeah, 100% is. We've always been looking at Huddersfield, looking at them, going, they're the target. They're the target. Obviously, they beat us, as we keep saying, and they picked up a couple of good wins. Yeah. So, and it's been Millwall and Stoke that have been dropping like stones. Mm-hmm. But then Stoke win against QPR. We were hoping for a draw there, but that was a win. Yeah, it is Millwall. It is. It's got to be. We've got Millwall, Bristol City, Rotherham, then Leeds. Plymouth, then Leeds. There is next 5 games. So we've got chance there to pick up three wins from there. Definitely. Millwall, Rotherham.
Don't count Leeds in that, mate. You ain't winning that.
Leeds.
He meant Leeds as one of the 3. Plymouth's obviously the tough one there.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. That's Bristol City, actually. Yeah, Bristol City. Yeah. With the Rotherham away, you've got to look at that. Even we've got to be looking at that, going, that's got to be the 3 point again. Yeah, 3 points for us, and then we play QPR in April. So that's it. So we are playing 3 of the 4 teams around us as well. So it is getting towards that, and it, like I said, 14 games left is never too late, but. No, it is got to be. It's got to be a must win. We said that against Huddersfield. Obviously, that did not go to plan at all. And now we're looking at the likes of Millwall. I think Birmingham's still there as well. They picked up a good win. So there is teams. If we can get, like Anton, if we can get two really good results in the next couple of games, 3 games, then I think we'll be right back in it, but it's a tough one.
If you beat Rotherham and then you beat if you beat Millwall and then let's say you beat Rotherham as well, you might have brought that gap back to within less than 3 points. So it's I think the biggest problem Wednesday you've got at the minute is the teams that are catchable, i.e. your Millwalls, your Stokes, Huddersfields, teams like that. You look at them and you think they've got to lose a lot of games consecutively for Wednesday to pull that gap back, but they're showing that they have the ability to. They'll maybe lose 2 or 3, but then they'll win and sort of increase the gap a little bit. So it's hoping. I mean, your destiny is kind of in other teams' hands at the minute. You need them to lose as well. So it's really tough, but I think they can. I just don't think they will.
No. Millwall. I'll say no, but if you beat Millwall, that might change my mind. I think that game's huge, but I'm not convinced that you'll beat Millwall, you see. So, and they're terrible. Maybe a point's not good for either, is it?
No, it's not. You're right. There is games you look at and go, we'll take a point. Obviously, saying it, Leeds coming to Hillsborough.
Yeah,
in the form you're in, if we get a draw there, that'll be fantastic. It will be.
Yeah,
but then Rotherham, Millwall, even Plymouth are one of those. They've gone
for a bit. Home or away?
That's at home midweek. So that is. Yeah, because our away form has been shocking, and his home form's not been that bad. So
if it was at Plymouth, I'd back them. But if it's away, you've got to win that. You've got to. I think.
I think your mic's dying, Joe, or something. You're a bit laggy.
2 minutes. 1 sec. I'm gonna have to leave you 1 minute.
Quick, fill the time.
Yeah. We could say is a contentious one. Is it Philogene goal or not goal?
I think it's hard because you can't tell. It's impossible to tell if it's going on target. It obviously takes a deflection, but if someone shoots at goal, it's on target and it deflects, it still goes to the person who shot. But with the angle, it's so difficult. I think that they've just decided to give it to him, I suppose. But he probably deserves it just for the audacity to do that. Let's be honest. Yeah. I mean, I said this because I was at Rotherham, right, and I was sat in that stand, and it's so funny because Philogene's an amazing player, man. I mean, he's got this arrogance, confidence, really backs himself, and when you combine that with the technical ability you got some monster, right? But sometimes he overplays it, right? Rotherham give the ball away in their own box, and you're just thinking, cross it, 1-1, that's it, And he runs and he nutmegs a defender, and you're thinking, okay, that's a bit of elaborate now. Put it in, and he's still done. He Cruyff turns that same defender, and you're thinking, what's he doing? And then he goes to reburner it, and the guy I was stood with next to, he was like, just cross the ball, and then it went into the top corner, and it was just like, fair play then. I mean, it's just, I think you're still muted, Joe, mate. I mean, the thing is with Philogene is, no, I still can't hear. The thing is with Philogene is he's obviously such a confident player, and I think he's the one player that Rosini has turned around and said, I'm just going to take the shackles off you, mate. You go out there and you do what you do. And he's absolutely loving his football. He's enjoying himself. I think he loves being here. The players back him. They all know what he's capable of, and he's just an absolute joy to watch. And I think that, understandably, summer comes round, there's going to be a few Prem teams sniffing, I would imagine. But he's going to cost a pretty penny. He's young English. He's flamboyant. He's extravagant. He's an exciting player. He's amazing. I just never ever think, like I said to me, mate. I said I never ever thought I would watch a Hull City game and see a player nutmeg a defender, Cruyff turn a defender, and then reburner it into the top corner in the space of 10 seconds. It's just absolutely crazy that he's at this level. He's an insane player. But yeah,
is he? He was out for a few weeks, wasn't he? Is he probably one of the reasons why you're not either further up in the top 6 or challenging top 2? Is that?
Yeah.
Do you reckon is that right?
We the problem we had is yes, all teams suffer a lot of injuries at the same time, and it's inevitable throughout the season. You have like a little bit of an injury phase, but with us it was the key players to the system that we play were missing. I mean, we were missing Philogene, we were missing Delap, who's arguably one of our most important players. Seri's been at AFCON. We had no fit left back. It's just been a really, really tough period. I mean, and when it's over Christmas and you've got game after game after game after game so quickly, it's hard to kind of regain that momentum. And yeah, he's been a massive miss, let's be honest. And as the good thing about Philogene at the minute is that he was out for so long, and you'd think that it would take a bit of time for him to get that form back up. And he hasn't. It's like he's not even been away. He's just, he's on another level. He's an absolute joy to watch.
How much?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
How much
We'll
did
carry
you
your
pay
shirt
for
for you,
him?
It's all right, mate.
Yeah, well, brilliant. Thank you so much for that as well. How much did you pay for him?
We bought him for 5 million. And
Sure.
Villa have a 15 million pound buyback clause if we get promoted. So as long as we're in the Championship, realistically, it's going to cost a pretty penny to get him back. But yeah, I think he just. It's really weird, you know. It's bizarre that we got him for 5 mil from Villa, being the player that he was, because he had a really good pre-season with Villa, and their fans wanted him involved in and around the starting squad. And Emery sold him, and they couldn't quite understand it. And then they've gone and bought Morgan Rogers from Middlesbrough for, I think, about a similar fee. So it's like, why did they even sell Philogene if they're wanting these young players in the squad? It's a bit bizarre, really. But we're not going to complain.
No, definitely not. I would think either top player, by the way, and I think, like you say, if it isn't Villa, someone might take a look at it, mightn't they? And it'll cost a pretty penny, I think. So that's a positive. You know, that's what you have to do. Unfortunately, it's the same for Leeds United. You know what? We bring in the likes of Somerville for $1 million. When he goes, you know, it's pure profit, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Sometimes you have to just accept that this.
Did any clubs come in for Somerville in January? I was really surprised that there wasn't a bit of transfer fee around him.
They would have, but they were all told in the summer, no. Even Dortmund came in for Rutter in the summer, and they were told no. Non-tour, you know the non-tour situation, so I think they just didn't even bother entertaining it in January because they were going to be told by the 49ers not a cat in hell's chance, so you might as well just move elsewhere. I think Villa liked him, and Fabrizio Romano, I think, said we'd turn down Villa in the summer. So I think, yeah, there was no genuine possibility that anyone was going to leave unless it was on our terms. But I think the only problem will be is if we don't go up, then these players will leave. I think that goes without saying. We accept that fact. But if you go up, you keep them, don't you, for a couple of seasons, and then they make a move to an even bigger club, top six end or whatever, and then. But then by then you've got loads of money and you just reinvest it well. Do you know what I mean? That's what it's about. That's where we messed up last time, was our recruitment. I think with the 49ers, we've got decent people behind the scenes now. We've just brought in this Jordan Miles, who was at Aberdeen, but previously at West Ham. And he brought in the likes of Souček and Soufal and did a lot of decent deals for West Ham. And they went on to get, win European trophies. So hopefully, we'll reinvest well. Because any football fan that goes, they should stay at the club and that, it's like, it's not the 90s anymore. It's what happens, unfortunately. Let's just move up the table. Huddersfield Town, I think they stay up. Everyone agree or anyone disagree?
I think on current form they do.
Yeah.
I think on current form they do. They've since getting rid of Moore, they've looked far more potent going forwards and scoring goals now. Like you said, they scored 4 against Sheffield Wednesday. I know they conceded 5 against Southampton, but they still scored 3 against them. And then they've obviously just won last night, another really good win. So they seem to have found a way of playing to get the best out of the current squad. I believe they're about to announce a new manager, so we'll have to see what kind of style of play he brings. But we've got them on the weekend, and it's going to be a really tough game. We've not won at the John Smith Stadium for 11 years. The one time that we won was the one time I didn't go. I go every year, and we always lose 2 or 3-0. And then I say I'm not going again, and then somehow I get roped into going. So I'm going again this Saturday. So hopefully it changes. But I think they've shown they've got enough. I think they're better than Millwall. I think they're better than the squads around them. They seem to be showing a bit more about them. But yeah, so I back them to stay up personally.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, let's talk about Hull City then. Same points as Coventry. Ash are Hull City. They do have a game in hand. West Brom are up there as well. I actually want Hull City to get in there. I can't lie. I like Rafinha. I like a few of the players that they do have. But it's going to be very, very tough, I think, because I think West Brom will get in there. Because in a one-off game, for me, Carlos Corberan's great. So if I think they get something against Southampton. So I think that sees them in there over the course of these 14 games. Yeah, they will have a few dips, but I just think West Brom will get in. And then that last spot for me is probably between Coventry and Hull. And Coventry have hit some really good form, but maybe again they've gone a little bit too early, like Southampton, and Hull might have a bit of a resurgence, if you like. I'm not too sure, but I can't. I really can't make a decision. I think it'd be very harsh if they didn't get in. They're definitely in with a shout, though, aren't they, Ash? Hull City.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Oh, yeah. We've just been talking about obviously the play like Philogene they've got, and the I know that some of the results have been a bit sketchy, of course, but it's going to be interesting as well. I mean, Norwich, Preston, they're weird ones. I've not really kept an eye on their results and things, but you've got 4. I'm just looking now. You've got 4 teams all on 48 points. Obviously, Hull with a game in hand. So
that game in hand is Southampton away, though.
Oh, please, bro, please! Oh, it's next Wednesday, isn't it? It's next Wednesday, actually. Yeah.
We was meant to play them a couple of weeks ago, but because we had to play the replay against Birmingham in the Cup, it got rescheduled, which is actually really good because we had no players at that point. So we might have a better team to face them this time around.
Get in. That's music to my ears because I'm thinking West Brom beat or take points off Southampton on Friday. And then hopefully you can do us a job as well, mate. That'd be nice. Yeah, defo.
But Ipswich are only a point behind, though, aren't they? So, like, they're still there. I know they've dropped off a bit. But Hull, I think it'll be my 4 for playoffs would be Southampton, Ipswich, West Brom, and Hull. I think Hull will just sneak in.
But come on, Ant, what are you saying? Are you confident?
I think with the players we've got, it's really hard to say no. But it's like we said, do we have enough time for so many players to bed in? Because we've won 3 of the last 4, but I wouldn't really say we've played phenomenally well in any of them. The Sunderland game was more of a backs to the wall, dig deep, grind out a smash and grab kind of win. Millwall, we played some of the best football I think I've ever seen us play for 30 minutes, and then we kind of just switched off for 70 and almost ended up drawing. Swansea was horrific. I mean, they were on a really, really bad run of form. I mean, look at Leeds, they've just absolutely tonked them. They came with a plan to nullify us. It worked, and we were poor. And then Rotherham, we started really poorly and finished stronger and obviously ended up winning the game. So we need to find a way of being consistent over 90 minutes. We need to find a way of putting our chances away and being better defensively because we concede so many sloppy goals, individual errors, things like that. So my thoughts are, obviously, over the last couple of months, we've had a very, very chop and changey team because of injuries and things like that. And like I was saying earlier, that we missed some really key players. I mean, we've got Seri back for this weekend, obviously, after he's just won African Cup of Nations with Ivory Coast. Got in the team of the tournament too, so hopefully nice. he carries a bit of momentum into coming back into the side because we have missed him. He's the maestro. He's the one that drops deep and links defence to attack and really gets us ticking. So we have missed him. But yeah, I think this is the first time this weekend that we'll probably have, barring Liam Delap, a full strength 11 in months. So yeah, I'd like to see a consistent starting 11 that can string a form together, or at least just win ugly. Because I think at this point of the season, results are more important than performances anyway. Yeah. So if we can show an ugly side to the game where we can just grind results out, then absolutely. But I think we've definitely got enough to finish in the top 6. Like I say, it's just, I'm hoping that the other teams kind of falter and we capitalise because we haven't kind of done that when we've had the opportunity to do so.
100%. Andy makes a good point as well. The goal difference, you were Norwich on 5 and then Coventry are on 13 goals, 16 for West Brom, so that could...
Yeah, I mean, the thing is we create a lot of chances in games and we just don't put them away. It's really frustrating because we should be in a far better position than what we're in. There's some games where we've lost or drawn because we've been so wasteful in the final third. So hopefully, obviously, with the added creativity and players that we brought in January. I mean, Noah Ohio came on against Rotherham and scored as well. So hopefully he can hit the ground running as well. That we've got enough in terms of firepower now to get us in the top 6.
Hopefully, mate. Hopefully. Just finally then, in second place, it should be an easy answer this. Do Leeds go up automatic? I'll come to you first, Steph.
Unfortunately, yes.
Yes, I love that. My man.
Unfortunately, yes. Just You just can't. You can't. Thing is, though, you can't see it at the minute. But we've just been on about Southampton being 28 on 25, whatever it was, unbeaten.
Yeah.
Leeds are in some good form, but you just never know, do you?
No,
It'll all come unstuck on a Friday, wet Friday in Sheffield. That's what
we've got Leicester next Friday as well.
Yeah.
So after Plymouth away, that'll be an interesting one because obviously we beat them at their place, so they might want to get revenge. And what about you? Leeds automatic?
Again, I think unfortunately, yes. It's. I think what Leeds have that Southampton don't is sort of that unbeatable mentality at home. Because you've been unbeaten at home for so long, the Leeds players genuinely just go out there and don't think they're going to lose.
It's a case for the opposition as well, isn't it? Them coming into the game
because
thinking
it affects. If you're a travelling team going to Ellen Road and you know how well Leeds are doing there, even for the manager, like in training going up to it, you're probably setting up your tactics to be a bit more defensively, a bit more cautious, take less risks. And if you take less risks, you score less goals. If you score less goals, you're less likely to win a game. So it's Leeds have kind of got to the point in the season now where you probably can see them going unbeaten at home all season. It would be terribly Leeds-ish to be in a
100%.
position where they have to beat Southampton to get into the top two, and they're the first team to win at Ellen Road. But I don't see it. I say that with hope, not expectation.
Yeah.
But it's for me. I just think that Leeds have got a bit more than Southampton about them this season, and like I said, I think that mentality of after losing after so many games unbeaten, it'd be really interesting to see how Southampton do the next couple of games, because I think Leeds and Southampton have got two really tough games next, and I think Leeds will win more points than Southampton do, which puts that gap in, and then you'll just run away with it from that point.
Yeah, no, I agree, mate. I hope that comes to fruition because I want out of this shit league. I'm sorry.
Same.
So do I, but not
exactly,
the way we're going.
The other way.
So do I, but not the way we're going.
Yeah, exactly. Listen, lads, thank you all so much for coming on. Make sure you check out at to Hull and Back, and obviously Ash at the Wednesday.
The Wednesday week, mate. How many times have I been on this show?
I know, man. I did get it right. It's just been a while. It's just been a while.
Yeah.
It has been a long time, man. And I've got sty, man. Forgive me, man.
He's stressed.
Being that far up the table, stressing him out.
Yeah, exactly. Listen, folks that are watching live as well, I'm going straight on over to Dan Potts' 12th Man podcast. So I'm going to be on there straight after this. So I've set a redirect on. So if you're going over, just Joe Raid, I'll be with you in 2 minutes. So go on over there as well. And make sure you check out these fantastic podcasts as well as the He Takes That Chance and New York Talk, which is Rotherham and Huddersfield pods as well. The links are in the description. Thanks, everyone. And we'll see you again next week. And I'll see you in 2 over on the 12th Man. Bye-bye.